You can accept a 2 because that's a tie game, but you can't take a 3.
Bronstein gets it into Spencer now. Under 10 seconds to go. Bronstein has it. You know who he's trying to find. Hassel is on Kelly. Kelly can't handle the ball. Finds Spencer for 3 in the game.
Oh my God!
Mikey Spencer with a game-winning 3-point shot. And Salve Regina steals one here on the campus of Worcester State University. He is absolutely mobbed by his team. Salve Regina has won the game, and they improved to 4-5 on the season. An incredible wild shot from the corner. Mikey Spencer, the superstar freshman, gets it to go.
Mike, I am speechless. They were all double teaming Kevin Kelly. All the attention was on Kevin Kelly. No one was paying attention to the star player, Mikey Spencer. Mikey Spencer, wide open 3, nothing but net. Oh my God, Mike. I got chills, Mike. I have chills. That was a great end of the game.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Seahawk Talk here on the Salve Athletics Network. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli, coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of those platforms to never miss a show. We're live every single day at 3 to 4 p.m. We've got a great show for you lined up here today. We'll be joined by the Commissioner of the Commonwealth Coast Conference, Greg Kay, and then Janelle Iaquinto, Hannah Smith, Georgia Rossetti, Samantha Curico, Sophia Dukakis, Grace Gilmore, and Olivia McHugh. A packed show. Can't get ready to go. We're going to talk to the Brewsters as well, but first, like always, we want to remind you to keep your distance. That is Ed Habershaw with his rendition of Keep Your Distance from The Shake, a Rhode Island-based band with a message that we can apply worldwide. Social distancing, hand washing, mask wearing, we will drone on and on and on about it continually here on the program because we need to, and we're going to remind everyone as often as we can to do those simple and easy things. Want to bring in the producers now, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco. Fellas, how are we doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Good. Joey?
I'm muted.
Joey's unmuted.
I didn't mute myself. Ed did it. It was not my fault. But I'm unmuted now.
What do you fellas have here to lead off today's program?
Joey, if you want to go in with that, because I'm really interested if you want to talk about that. Because I need to know where it was.
You want to know about this monolith thing?
Oh, yeah. Tell us about the monolith.
Andrew, you told me about this monolith thing, and I looked into it. Yeah, now another monolith. Okay. So I feel like I need a conspiracy theory board, like a cork board I gotta put up next to me, with like all these wires, because I was confused. So, okay. Catch you up. Here's what happened. Okay, first monolith, Utah, second monolith, Romania, whatever. Apparently, Wednesday-ish, somebody put up a monolith in California. And then some no fun, the fun police, unrelated to the regular police, the fun police came in and tore it down. And replaced it with a cross for some reason. And so then the guys who did it, who made it, the guys who made this monolith, not the other ones, but this monolith, said, okay, we're the ones who did it. We're going to go back there and put it back up. So I guess so that they could go put it back, they told people that they did it. Then, in the meantime, where is it? Some more monoliths popped up. In where I don't know, I can't find it. It's in here somewhere, but I can't find it.
I'm seeing one in Britain right now. I just
yeah, it's the first two Vegas are the most intriguing because the one in Utah was there since 2016. They proved that looking at Google Earth photos, and then the one in Romania. They don't know how long that one was there for. The rest of them are all copycats.
Yes,
it's all people doing it for publicity.
These guys said they saw it and they thought it was fun, so they made their own. Yeah, then in the meantime, one got found in Las Vegas. There's no content on this. It just says in Las Vegas, and that's the end of the sentence. Then on Saturday, they found one somewhere else in California, I guess, near where the other one was. But, and this one's clearly a joke because this is caution in red letters and has a UFO.
Yeah, it has like a UFO drawing on it.
And then, but the guys who did the other California ones that they are unrelated to this one. So it's like a whole thing. It took me a while reading this to put together the pieces and understand what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
But the first two, maybe real, maybe suspicious. All these other ones are just art.
Because it's like nobody has come forward and claimed those. The first two. These other ones are all for publicity.
Yeah, these guys just wanted to do it for fun. They thought it would be fun, and so they
monoliths continue to trend. And
yeah, that's what they said. They're like 2020 sucks. They're like, let's build some monoliths. They thought it would be fun, so they made a monolith. Here they are.
Well, we've reached it's the point of boredom, right?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson wants to fight again. We've got Floyd Mayweather is going to fight more YouTubers. Like, it's literally, the talk about running out of ideas. Like, so you have an idea? Do it. Want to stick a monolith over a highway? Go for it.
That's how bored they are. They're like, hey, you guys got some spare blowtorches and sheet metal. Y'all want to make a monolith? Like,
Yeah.
this can't be cheap. Like, it's probably not that expensive.
Yeah.
But it can't be cheap.
We need to start our own like publicity stunt like this here at Salve, like crop circles on the baseball
Yeah, we need to
fields.
do
Or
that look like the
cars.
Salve
A
Seahawk.
viral,
Yeah.
viral marketing, like a Cloverfield thing.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Exactly.
we'll
We
get
start
on.
rumors that there's like some sort of fish monster on the cliff walk. We like take pictures of like, oh, it's a fish monster.
Why the
You
Loch
could
Ness
you could
monster
just
came
take
here.
you could just take a blurry picture of the water and be like, I saw the fish monster, and half the people who like see the picture will say they see it too, even if there's
Wait,
no monster
also,
there.
what did we say? Why were we like fish monster? We have ghosts on campus. Like, that's a thing.
But ghosts
like,
that's
we
a
might
totally
as-
separate thing.
We
Yeah.
might as well just play into that. That
Another
could be our
dimension,
viral
yeah.
marketing.
Supposed to be one in Watts my freshman year, but I personally didn't hear anything.
Has anyone on campus ever done when I went to school, we had ghosts on campus allegedly, and a group actually formed like a little paranormal group, and they would do those like, we're gonna go into like the haunted place and sit all night and like try
I
and
wanted
like
to do that once. but I
catch
felt like they would
things
say
on
no to me.
camera or audio. Has anybody ever done that at Salve, to your knowledge? Maybe you guys could get this
I was
started?
gonna.
Maybe we
I
should.
I was worried Chiquita would say no to me, so I didn't ask. I thought you were gonna ask about the ghost tours, which I'm mad they stopped doing. I don't know why we didn't do it last year.
No, I'm talking about we need to
Ghost
get
tours
like
are cool.
ghost hunters on Salve Regina. That's what we need.
I
do
could
it.
definitely
They're
do
back.
that. I've heard a lot of stories, so I can
They
talk.
did-
I've never
they-
had one, but
They did one of them. They did Rosecliff or one of those.
and yeah, Fort Adams as well. I think they did a ghost hunters there.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Cool. Mike, what do you have to start off the show?
So for mine, we have Santa Claus, another like mystical sort of news. Santa Claus is coming to town.
In other
So-
cryptid news,
Yeah. So the no,
Santa
but
Claus is the one delivering the monoliths. That's what we.
That's it. Wait, that's been it the whole time. It started around December. So Santa Claus, after dropping off his last monolith wherever, is now coming to Newport. This or actually tonight, December 8th, and also if you're not available tonight, next Tuesday and Thursday, and he'll be doing his route around Newport. I think Tuesday it has the whole thing here. It starts on Broadway, goes to Gould, and then you can follow the whole route here. And here's Thursday's route if you're more interested in that. But yeah, so this was put out by the Newport Police today, and then they even sent this app out called the Jimps app, which I'll highlight for you so you can see. It's kind of an odd name. That's it right there. If you want to track where he is at all times, so you can
Jimps.
follow him around, see if he's putting up any other monoliths, and just keep a close eye on Santa Claus.
Is
Usually
that
he's watching you, but now you get to watch Santa Claus.
Well done. Is that an acronym for something?
the
Jimps?
S must stand for
I-
Santa.
I looked it up. So all I saw was it's like some app development company. I could Google a little bit more, and maybe we'll all put on my detective hat today and try to get to the bottom of that one. But no, I couldn't find the abbreviation because I knew you were gonna ask
I mean,
something.
it makes you think
that.
of like glimpse, but Jimps.
Yeah.
It could just be like an odd play on words for a company name, but it just feels like it's probably an acronym for something. I don't know.
It has to be. We'll
Yeah, I just
we'll
looked it
get
up, I
that
don't see it
done.
either.
Yeah,
We'll get
But
right on that.
I know the brain
Or they
power
spelled it
between
wrong.
both
True.
you, Mike, and Detective Morelli. You guys will find it.
Oh yes, we will. I just typed it in. Can't find anything right now, but it will just take me a few minutes.
Download the app. Maybe the app says.
Yeah. True. Well, I think they have a lot of apps actually, so I'm gonna look into this.
Cool. Well, fellas, entertaining as always. I'm gonna let you guys get to work. Doing some investigative reporting and helping to produce the show, and we'll talk to you again at the end of the program.
All right.
All right, that's Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. We're going to get to our first guest, the commissioner of the Commonwealth Coast Conference, joining us for his monthly appearance, Greg Kay. Greg, welcome to the show again. How you doing?
Doing good. I just finished polishing up the monolith, and this comes at a really good time. Logical stopping point, I guess.
I would say we're always looking for, and Mike and Joey said, ways to promote, things, and what, especially in these times, we're trying to think of ideas. What can we do? Maybe a conference monolith, and maybe that's how we get some CCC, draw some other eyeballs from unconventional places.
I think that would be a good idea. The other one that I thought of is maybe you can find some original footage of Ed Habershaw when he was a member of the Shake doing Keep Your Distance back in the back in the 80s.
Like
that would be
like
another funny
the
one.
grainy, like Zapruder film-esque
Exactly.
version
Yep.
of Keep Your Distance. Yeah,
That's right.
That could be efforted. We could dig into the archives. Greg, all joking aside, we're still in this mess. The COVID thing. I know we're probably all sick of talking about it, but we have to start there. And kind of, it seems like every week there's change, but then there's no change. So kind of, what is the important kind of point in deadline? Is it that January 19th, I think, is when the presidents meet? Is that really kind of what we're focused on now? Because most campuses have kind of shut down or gone remote. Nobody's practicing. It's really that point in time is where some decisions will actually get made, right?
Yeah, I would anticipate that at some point in that latter part of January, there would be some sort of a decision that would be made. Right now, out of the 8 conferences in New England, 5 have announced publicly that they are not going to be holding competition in the winter. There are still 3 of us that are certainly leaving the door open and doing everything that we can. One of the things that I think will be interesting, I don't know that it necessarily leads to us making a decision, but it's really the status of the NCAA Winter Championships. I know on the championships committee side, they've said that we would need to have about 60% participation across the division in order to have a meaningful championship event. And while you could still have a season if there were no NCAA championship, that essentially kind of gives you the finish line. So, in essence, it really comes down to, do you have enough time from when you start to play to getting through a complete schedule. Now, that being said, there are conferences that have already come out and said, you know what, we're gonna conduct our seasons in February and March, or we're gonna try to do it in March and April. I mean, the winter sports. So conceivably, there could be some leagues also that say, you know what, the NCAA championship is a nice carrot, but it's not the be all and end all. For most conferences, you're talking about one, in some years, maybe 2 or more teams, but they are looking at having a reduced field this year. So it's going to make those at-large bids a little more tricky. I think on the athletic director side of our conference, certainly we would love to be able to protect that NCAA appearance for the team that would come out on top of whatever our season would look like. But I guess the way that I also look at it is that the presidents last met back in November. The good thing about delaying it a little bit, while it doesn't give you an answer, is it at least gives you a chance to hopefully have some critical changes to the equation. If we have vaccines, if they're available to colleges and universities, we're certainly not going in the right direction as a society right now. But if you make a decision in November or December based on the way things might be come February, you run the risk of maybe making the wrong decision. Yeah. So, again, I like everybody else, wish we weren't in a position where we're talking about this, but at least it's still on the table. At least it's the end goal to be able to do it if we can do it safely. So we'll see what the holidays bring. We'll see what the rollout of the vaccines look like if that happens, and we'll take it from there.
Is there a singular winter sport kind of like plan, or that's like, this is what we're going with, this is the proposal, or are there multiple variations of what winter sports could look like, and kind of all of it's on the table at once? Because I know so much time and planning has gone into it.
Absolutely. There are several different models that would get us through, at worst, a single round robin depending upon the start date. So we've looked at different start dates in the month of February and what a schedule would look like. So I think a lot of it's really going to come down to when the presidents talk in December. When are students coming back to campus? How much time do we feel that they need in terms of practicing and preparation to be ready to go? Normally, student athletes are heading out after finals in December, and you may see them a little before classes start up in January. So, in essence, if you're looking at a February start, you're really only delaying it by a couple of weeks from where we normally would be. They've already pushed back the NCAA championships, if they occur, by a week. So that gives you a little bit of extra time. If you think of, basketball, you're essentially playing 3 games in a 7-day period, going Saturday, a weekday, and then Saturday. The hockey's a little bit different because they're ingrained to play Fridays and Saturdays, but it certainly is doable. So a lot of those scenarios that are, ready to go, if we're able to do it, it's just a matter of where does the calendar line up, which one are we comfortable with, and then we take it from there.
Yeah. A lot of work has still happened and will continue to happen even without games. Feature stories and a lot of work to highlight things and create programming. All of that requires workers. From the conference standpoint, what are the opportunities for people looking to maybe work or as an intern or whatnot in the CCC office?
That's really a great question, and I'm glad you were able to highlight that. If folks go back and take a look at some of the things that we've done over the fall semester, one thing in particular that I'm really proud of is that we've done a combination student athlete development series and also a person of the week series. And I know we've talked about both of those, a couple different times throughout the fall on this webcast. But the thing I'll highlight is that we really relied heavily on the interns that we had in place in the fall to produce those person of the week stories and videos. So, just to give everybody a sense, we had 3 interns this fall. 2 of them were from the University of New England. One was from over the bridge at Roger Williams. And, they were in a regular rotation of conducting interviews and typing up stories and collecting footage and photographs. And they turned it into, finished, polished pieces highlighting our individual persons of the week. Well, as I've said before, when we visited a lot of these programs that we've been doing, and I think Jody Moradian kind of touched on it a little bit yesterday when she was with you, a lot of what we've been doing are things that we want to continue doing into the future. So our hope would be that, we still have student interns who are assisting us with those programs, as well as a lot of other things that we've had to put on the shelf during the pandemic as far as championships and weekly awards. We love having interns, especially from CCC institutions. So if there are any folks that are out there that have an interest in learning a little bit more about the conference, learning a little bit more about the division, learning a little bit more about the NCAA and how things operate, ideally it would be somebody that has some strong writing and some strong media backgrounds, but that's not required. We've had people of all skill sets. So I would, strongly encourage, if there's anybody out there that's, looking for an internship and has the ability to arrange for academic credit, or if it's just something that someone is keeping the doors open for a career in athletics, media relations, production, that sort of thing, give us a shout out. Reach out to me, reach out to our Associate Commissioner, Doug Chin, or even you or Ed in the SID office. And we'd love to have that conversation. If people have certain areas that they're interested in, we can tailor something to really make it work. But the interns that we had back in the fall, and folks can look at pieces that we did on those interns as we selected them as our 11th persons of the week back in the fall. That'll give you a good sense of what they've been doing. So if anybody said, you know what, I'd love to do this, I really would love to see what goes on in the background. I'd love to get into athletics. If you're a student athlete that, want the playing days are over, but you still want to be involved, by all means, our program really has picked up a lot of steam the last couple of years. And that's been one of the positives, I think, during the pandemic, is that we've been able to roll out some ideas that we've talked about many, many times, but just really never had the time or the resources to make it work. And now we've really laid some great groundwork. We'd love to have folks from Salve. I would anticipate that we're still going to be working remotely in the spring. So the geography is really not an issue. But
pajamas can be your attire. So
there you go. As long as you look like this when we have our staff Zooms every Friday morning, exactly, you'll be fine. But love to hear from anybody that might have an interest.
Yep. Experience is everything in the sports industry if you're trying to get into it. So it doesn't matter if it's free, it'll pay off down the road. Internships are a wonderful thing, speaking from personal experience. So
no doubt.
Greg, love having you on. Once a month, hopefully we have some more better news, happier news next time we get to talk. But I guess in a way, we're kicking the can down the road, but I'd say we'd rather that than having the other side of things. So
absolutely.
Thank you for checking in with us. Always enjoy the conversation, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Sounds good, Andrew. And say hi to Coach Janelle for me.
Yes, will do. All right. That is Greg Kay, the commissioner of the Commonwealth Coast Conference. And we will go, as Greg just mentioned, to the head coach of our softball team, Janelle Iaquinto. Coach, how are we doing?
Hey, Andrew. How are you? Nice to see you.
Well, I think Janelle might be frozen. Or I'm frozen. I'm not sure which is which.
I can hear you fine on my end, but you're frozen on my end.
Well, if anybody is there. Oh, here we go. Janelle, was that me or was that you who was lost there?
I think it might have been you, Andrew, but I don't know. And Jamestown is dicey, so it could be the internet here as well.
Well, I'm back. So, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you. I'm actually gearing up. We have our annual convention this week, and it's virtual, of course, but that's going to be kind of going strong for the next 3 to 4 days. Lots of presenters, lots of topics. So really just excited to dive into, the softball community and see some familiar faces and learn some new ways of doing things and kind of seeing what other schools and programs are doing amidst COVID and, planning for the future. So it's pretty great. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be different, not having the in-person aspect and all of the events and things like that, but the conversations and topics are really great this year. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's just kind of more along that trend of taking this time for personal and professional development because we actually have the time.
Right. Absolutely. And, I think we've been away from the game for so long, especially in the spring sports. So keeping our fingers crossed and trying to maintain, that positive attitude that we'll hopefully be playing in the spring, but we've lost so much time. I was having a conversation with someone recently saying that I feel like I haven't even coached, in a while. We've been doing practices and a lot of virtual things, but getting into that live situation or having practices without boundaries or restrictions, it's been a long time. So I think this is a good opportunity to just give everybody a little bit of a boost and some new ideas and just get people motivated again about the career and the opportunity that we have as coaches. It's tough. It's a lot of focus has been on the student athletes and their experience and the freshmen, and certainly impacted tremendously, but it's also that way for us. We've lost a sense of normalcy and lost a sense of routine. And this is, I think, going to be a really good way to get everybody motivated and energized to look forward to hopefully a spring season.
I don't know where's the camera that you placed in my apartment or a bug on my computer? Because my next question was going to be, everyone talks about the players and the athletes, but for
Yeah.
coaches, it has to be just as hard. You invest so much into a season, and then last season cut short 2 games, 1 day, and then
Right.
this little break, the potential, God forbid, there's not another season. That's just as hard as on a coach as it is a player, maybe even more so because it's your job. You're literally in it 24/7.
Right, right. And it is a sense of like, who we are. And we're all of us as coaches are competitive, and we're very invested in our work and invested in our student athletes, but we love the game and we love playing. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. And that big component has been taken away. And it's forced us to be creative. Certainly, it's forced us to have to, spend time with our players in new ways and all of that. But I mean, we're still missing that aspect of competition that is hard. And no matter what we're doing, we're not emulating that in the traditional sense. So it's the conversation, Andrew, too, like, now that it's looking, winter is hopefully going to have some progress, but potentially, those winter student athletes may lose a season. We've been through that, and it's easy to forget that last March, this is almost a year and potentially another season that we're facing, and not just our student athletes, but coaches as well. And it's hard until you go through it and until your season has really been canceled. And the fall, in my opinion, it was tough for everybody, but those coaches and teams got an opportunity to work with their players. We didn't see our kids from March 13th until September. So we've got a lot of time to make up, and it's hard. It's really challenging keeping the kids motivated and keeping myself. I have good and bad days, just like the kids do, like we all do. It's hard, to be at home all the time.
Yeah. Speaking of hard, what's the hardest position to play in softball, and has that changed over time?
Good question. Well, I guess this is like really, in my opinion, I think pitching can be the most challenging, just because, it takes such a special kind of thing to do. And it's not easy. It's really not easy. And it requires so much work and so much training. For me, I started out as an infielder, moved to the outfield, and was a utility player turned pitcher. So I kind of got a sense of every position to work with. But catching, I think, from the mental side and the strategic side of things and game calling and preparation is certainly a contender. And the hitting side of things has just improved tremendously over the last 5 to 10 years. As the pitching's gotten better, the hitting's gotten better, the technology's gotten better. The video and the resources and the composites in the bat, everything has just improved significantly. So the game is changing. It's getting faster, it's getting more competitive. But I don't know, to be a pitcher, it takes a lot of components, the mental side, the physical side, and the skill set side.
Which is the hardest to coach?
Pitchers or catchers? Oh, depends on the day. I think it really, in my opinion, comes down to the student athlete and truly, like, I have some kids that respond very well to constructive criticism. I have others that are so technical with things, it takes them a while to really grasp a new concept. Some others, it comes very naturally, and I think keeping them motivated is a challenge. So, pitchers, it's tough. They're all very stubborn in their own ways and hardworking, but that hardworking factor is what keeps us competitive and has been a huge foundation for our success in our championships. But they're nothing without those catchers. We say it all the time, and they get overlooked. Our catching staff, certainly, and the catching staff spends a lot of time with me on reports and going over team dynamics and knowing what to do in situations. I don't know. They all have some days the outfielders drive me nuts, Andrew. I mean, you know that, but.
It may just be me. I mean, is it, modern coaching, I feel like, has changed in the sense that, like you said, you focus on, I coach this kid one way differently than I coach this kid, as opposed to, from my experience when I was a player, it was the coach. They still have, they're just going to coach the entire team the way they coach their team. There was no like personalized kind of coaching style. I feel like that's the biggest difference from 10, 20 years ago to now, is that,
for sure,
there's a big adjustment for the individual versus just, hey, this is my team and I'm running it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, this is what you need to do. And in order to play, you have to do this, or you have to be this good. And the competitive side of it has changed a little bit, certainly. But, we just were self-motivators. And there have been times over the last 10 or 15 years that I've struggled to connect with that way of thinking for the student athletes. Like, I would just do it, or, it wouldn't be a question. Or if I really wanted to play, I would go home and take, so many extra reps and do all of this work. But the student athlete has changed, and the game has changed and evolved. So at times I feel that way for sure. But yeah, we're trying to look at player strength, and we're trying to get to know them. And I don't know, I don't want to come off as speaking in a negative sense about just the student athletes and things this year, but it's that grit, it's that tenacity, and it's still out there. And that's part of my recruiting strategy. Is I really want kids who can work hard and prove to work hard, and are okay with failure, and are okay with being pushed and challenged, and okay with not being the best. Those are the kids that can come into a program where we kind of share this philosophy with them, and we share this way of doing things, and they they complement that. We're not looking to change it. So in ways, I believe in that old school way of coaching, but using it with new guidelines and different advances in the game and skill set.
Awesome. Janelle, thank you so much for taking the time. As always, great to see you, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks, Andrew. See you soon.
All right, that's Janelle Iaquinto, the head coach of our softball team. We're going to take a brief break while I change my Wi-Fi, and we'll be right back.
So you want to be a Seahawk? Let's make sure you wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, and love your Seahawks.
Sammy, no mask?
Come on, Sammy. I know it's pumpkin spice season, but you can't bring drinks to class.
We have simple rules here, Sammy. Get out. Come back when you can follow them.
You gotta take care of yourself and others, even if you are Sammy the Seahawk.
All right, welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli. Going to go now to two members of our women's lacrosse team, Hannah Smith and Georgia Rossetti. Ladies, how are we?
Hello. Good. How are you?
Not bad.
Good. We just saw that video there, the, Seahawk safety, can't bring the pumpkin spice into Garrity Hall. Sack put that video together. Both you talk about the things Sack has done in this semester. I mean, a lot of focus on can't have games, can't have competition, but there's so many other things we can do on campus for athletes and for each other, and Sack's been a big part of that.
Yes, we have. We've tried to do as much as we can with the precautions and everything that we have to take. So we did a food drive this year. It wasn't the CCC food drive. We did one on our own, and it was pretty successful. We collected, I believe, 1,700 cans, and we gave them to local Newport families as well as Rogers Closet. So that's one major thing that we did this semester to kind of bring everyone together like we normally would.
Hannah, I see you in the classroom there, right?
Yeah.
So you're an education major, senior year. Is it daunting to be knowing that I'm heading right out into the world? Everything probably how much has changed in what you've learned this semester based on the previous 3 years of preparing to go be a teacher?
So the first 3 years of my education here at Salve, you learn how to teach the kids and different centers that you can do and different things you can do. And then this year, the first semester is my student teaching, which, as you can see, I'm in my classroom right now, as Andrew said, and it is teaching a whole new way because the students have to stay at their desk. We have to wear masks in the classroom at all times. So it has been kind of difficult to kind of change that like mental state of teaching. Like, oh, we're not doing centers today. Like, I have to do whole class instruction the entire time. Oh, I have to make sure that each student has each of these things so they can't just go back and grab them all the time. So it's been very interesting, but it's been fun.
Yeah. Georgia, you're still on campus, right? As an
Yeah.
RA.
Yeah.
What got you involved to be a residence assistant, and what's it like on campus right now?
It's like a ghost town here on campus right now. I normally have a floor of 40 girls, and right now I have 2 people left on my floor. So there's like virtually nobody in our buildings anymore. It's really weird. Um, but originally with like being an RA, I just wanted to kind of like I know that Hannah was a peer mentor last year. It's kind of similar to like I just wanted to be able to reach out and get to know the incoming students and just like be a resource for them. And I have definitely made some good friends, not only with my other co-RAs, but also with my residents from last year. So they are definitely an interesting group.
Yeah. Georgia, everybody focuses on the seniors, this is your last year, the freshmen, how hard it must be. But for you, a junior, you're a residence assistant right now without residence. You've had a normal freshman year, a sophomore year that was broken up and obviously chaotic. And now this is your junior year. How just whacked is your college experience as a junior?
It is crazy. I think so. Like the work picks up junior year. You're looking at internships. You're looking at, all right, I've got 1, maybe 2 years left of school, and then I'm off into the real world. And I did have the luxury of having a pretty normal first year and a normal half a semester, I guess, last year. But this year is just off the walls crazy. I super dislike Zoom school. I like being in the classroom. I like being able to interact with my teachers and like the other students. So I'm hoping things get back to normal next year, but just like this year, everything has picked up and it's just so much more difficult with everything online.
Yeah. You guys did have an opportunity to meet, practice, be around your teammates, and everybody really talked about how important that was for them mentally. Like, hey, just practicing. You never would have thought, like, oh my God, I love practice. That's been really important. A lot of people talked about that. You guys got that opportunity. And there's been a lot of mental health discussion, and that has been highlighted a lot during this semester. How important has that been for each of you to have gotten to be with your team and also to know that that mental health side has been really discussed and brought to the forefront here?
So for me personally, I just like love the socialization aspect of being at practice. And so in the spring when we were forced to go home and everybody had gone and I was still here, not everyone, there was like no one really to hang out with. It was kind of difficult because I was like, well, I miss my teammates. We should be at practice right now. Da, da, da. And then we came back after the summer and we were able to practice and we were able to go. And that just like brought everything back. And it was super exciting. And that was just a really good mental health thing for me because I was like, hey, I can go and see Georgia like at practice today. That's going to be so exciting. You're like, oh, Megan's going to be there. Like, this is awesome. So
kind of along the same lines as Hannah, like I just missed being around everybody. And like our team is crazy. Like we've got a bunch of whack jobs on our team, but they're so fun and they're so like, I don't think there's ever been a practice that I haven't laughed at with the amount of like jokes that get thrown out or like just like the weird things that people do. I tend to fall a lot, which is hilarious. But like they're just, it's so fun. And I missed that fun when we went home. And then just like there was no like physical activity either. And so I find like running or lifting weights or even going to practice like really helpful for my mental health to begin with. So it's just nice to be back on the field and be with everybody and like see all of my friends again.
Yeah. How much has the message that your coach, Bill Villarreal, the message that he's been giving to you guys, how much has that helped cope with the situation? Because he's talked very kind of strictly about like, listen, we have a mission. This is our objective. You guys know how he talks. And he kind of really simplifies it and makes it easy because it's simple and no excuses. How important has that been? And how much has that helped, that type of messaging?
It gives us a goal. Like he tells us what we have to do in a positive way and helps us like keep it positive, and that's just something for us to look forward to, which is very helpful.
He helps keep us accountable. Like we keep ourselves accountable, we keep him accountable, he keeps us accountable. I think it is definitely helpful, especially with all of the COVID stuff that's happening. It's nice to have someone else who's looking out for us, not just like our friends looking out for us.
Yeah. Hannah, like we said at the top, it is senior year. This will be your last year. You're going to go jump right into the professional world. Games or not, you know, if you get to play this year, no matter what will be your kind of lasting memory of this team?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I mean, like Georgia said before, we have so much fun all the time. And so I really think it would just be like the practices or even like the bus rides or just how hype and happy everyone is at our games. we really do have a good time all the time, and there is never a dull moment. So I think women's lacrosse at Salve as a whole is just a highlight of my Salve career.
I actually have to ask too. So sorry, second to last question was that. Did you make that mask yourself, or I mean?
I didn't. So I bought it on Etsy, and I have my name on it. I work in a kindergarten classroom, and so they can't read it yet, but it's helpful for them. They like see the S, and they're like, "Oh, we learned that letter, Miss Smith." And I'm like, "Yes, that's what my name starts with." And it has the crayons on it too, which is like super cute and fun.
Awesome. Cool. Ladies, thank you so much for taking the time. Always appreciate getting you guys' thoughts on things. Hannah, continue. Good luck in the rest of the classroom. Georgia, hopefully you get to go home soon and you're not just alone in a dorm room.
I would love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time, and we'll see you guys again soon. That's Georgia Rossetti and Hannah Smith from our women's lacrosse team. We're going to take a short break and hopefully be back with some members, some freshmen from our women's track and field team. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andy Pizzelli. We're actually going to bring in now, I guess we'll call him executive producer, Ed Habershaw. Welcome back to the show, Ed. You're the one who's provided us with the Shake footage, the Shake song and intro. And I say it every day. It's a Rhode Island-based band, worldwide message we can use. But where did the Shake come from? Tell us the story of the Shake.
I'm going to try to remember, Andrew. I followed them when I was in my late teens, early 20s. Hey, you don't have to go full screen with me here. We can back this up. Thank you, all the producers. And but the Shake is one of my favorite groups of all time, and I compare them with the Beatles. And we did lose one of our favorite Beatles 40 years ago today, December 8th.
Yeah.
But I'll try to remember their names. Patrick Tower was the one on the lead guitar, and he's got lead vocal. He sings, what's our theme song? Keep Your Distance. He's the lead vocal on Keep Your Distance, and then Anthony Franco is the lead song on the song we just showed, which is called Without You. I've got a live recording of them because my best friend Bob Delaporter was a roadie for them back in the day when they would hit the local bar scene with their singing, and he put in a bootleg tape. I don't know if our listeners know what that means right now, but he recorded them on cassette through their soundboard on a show at the Mishnock Barn back in 1986.
Mishnock Barn.
He gave it to me, or I asked for it if I could duplicate it. And we had those boom boxes back then that had tape-to-tape recording. Again, I'm outdating myself here. But Richard Ribb and Gordon Davignon was the drummer. Richard Ribb is the bass player in the group, and both all three of the four guys, Richard, Patrick, and Anthony, were outstanding singers, songwriters, and they just had a nice blend with their songwriting.
Do you perhaps have some of like the only recordings available or in circulation anywhere that could be found of the Shake?
Well, the stuff we've been playing has passed the YouTube copyright test, so I'm sure we've never violated any copyright violations, so we're good there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to quickly Google, the Shake Rhode Island band, and at least a cursory glance doesn't really turn up this giant catalog of music. So for the people who tune in every day and they maybe get you get your ear music deaf to it, you just hear, keep your distance from the Shake. Sure, you are listening to something that is rare that you might not be able to hear anywhere else.
We could get them to come back, though. That's my goal, is to have a reunion. Like, we've always wanted a Beatles reunion, and that's not going to happen on Earth. But we hope to have a Shake reunion.
When you were originally putting together this program, Seahawk Talk, back in the spring for season 1, and you were searching for something, I need like intro music. Did you know right away? Were you just like, oh my God, keep your distance from the Shake? I've had it this whole time. Yes, finally a use.
I did, only because I do listen to them frequently. They're in my regular playlist, and so as I was driving to RIT to pick up my son because he was coming home for the semester, I was listening to a lot of music, and I'm saying, "Oh my gosh, this would be perfect. Keep your distance." And the song itself isn't really about the pandemic. Obviously, it's about if we played the whole song, I know that you're keeping your eye on me if I look at any girl momentarily. It's about him looking at somebody else, romantically, and he was told to keep his distance and not stray in the relationship.
Yeah, cool. Well, I just figured since we had the time here, and it's been a while. I think we've talked about the origins of the song way back.
Off air,
but I think maybe in March, or April when we began Seahawk Talk. So had the opportunity to bring you back in and kind of give us the history of that there.
I appreciate that too, Andrew, because my friends Bob Potter, who I mentioned, and also Freddie Leach and Joe Doyle, we all grew up going to see the Shake. And my best friend, Ted Malley, who is a class of 1987 Salve Regina graduate, he also was a big Shake fan. So I don't know if they've ever even tuned in to Seahawk Talk to hear the fact that we're trying to revive the Shake.
Yeah, they're gonna see if they have records anywhere, records, CDs that are like somebody's like they see their sales going up. Like, what is happening? Why all of a sudden they get a royalty check, for $5? Like, what? Somebody bought Shake CDs?
I do have the one vinyl recording from the Shake. It's an EP. It's called Shifting Sand, and I think there were no more than 5 songs on the EP.
Yeah. You mentioned the passing of John Lennon. Now, a lot of New England Patriots fans remember it well because it was during Monday Night Football that there was the last seconds of the game. A field goal was going to be attempted, but they interrupted and they said, it is our obligation to bring you this news. Kind of one of those surreal moments. Is that how you learned the news? Where were you when you heard about John Legend's passing?
I was a senior in high school, Andrew. So 1980, December 8, 1980. I'm an Oakland Raider fan, so I'll confess there. I didn't stay up to watch Monday Night Football that night. By the way, the Oakland Raiders back then had the greatest record ever on Monday Night Football, but that's an aside. So the next morning, as I'm getting ready for school, heading off to work, that's 12th grade, one of my older sisters, Patricia, was driving us in a 1976 red Chevette to school, and we turned on the radio, and that's when I first heard the passing of John Lennon. Incidentally, today is the 40th birthday of one of your predecessors, Stephen Reedy. He was born on the day that John Lennon died.
Oh my gosh.
And he's a former SID at Anna Maria, came to us for a brief time as a sports information assistant as well, and I wish him a happy birthday earlier today.
Yeah. The world is full of weird coincidences.
So many links.
Ed, thank you for hopping on and giving us the history here of the Shake. We're going to take a break here and then wrap up the program, but always enjoy getting to chat and have you on your program.
Hey, thank you so much, Andrew. Always happy to sing the Shake, whether live or in recording.
All right, take it easy now, Ed. We're going to take a short break and be back with the producers to wrap up today's show. Don't go anywhere.
So you want to be a Seahawk? Let's make sure you wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, and love your Seahawks.
Sammy, no mask?
Come on, Sammy. I know it's pumpkin spice season, but you can't bring drinks to class.
We have simple rules here, Sammy. Get out. Come back when you can follow them.
You got to take care of yourself and others, even if you are Sammy the Seahawk.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli. Like to bring in the producers now, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, to help close out today's program. Fellas, I always like to get first your thoughts on anything that our guests had to say here today.
Well, it was nice to get the Rhode Island music background. You know, you don't always, it's a small state, but it has some great bands. Like Deer Tick and also Talking Heads. So if you're looking for Rhode Island music, you should definitely look it up because people sleep on it a lot, I think.
Have you been to the Mishnock Barn, Mike?
No, I have not. I have not, unfortunately. I've been to the Met in Providence one time. Yeah, before COVID. Seems like so long ago, but that's where I've gone to most of my Rhode Island ones. Yeah.
Cool. Joey, you're just on mute all day today.
I didn't even mute myself. What the heck? That wasn't even me.
Yeah.
Is Mishnock Barn, is that like a concert place?
It's in Rhode Island. Yeah.
I thought it was just like I literally thought it was a barn. Like I thought it was like just a venue. No, we got ours have like names like Oakdale Theater or like this stadium. Like like they're not ambiguous.
No, it's in West Greenwich. I think.
I
don't know where that is either.
On Lake Mishnock. Well,
crazy.
I didn't know that's why that was the name, though. Honestly, because I live pretty close to there. But see, we learn something. You learn something new, even know where you're from every day.
Exactly. What else do you fellas have here to round out today's program?
So some fundraising news. Actually, we've been talking a lot about fundraising. This was a pretty cool story. Rhode Island State Police are aiming to raise $10,000 for a Christmas charity. So it's Kids, Cops, and Christmas. They usually do this is an annual thing, but this year they're obviously going to have to adjust for social distancing reasons. But their goal is to raise $10,000. They usually get a bunch of toys and they donate them to kids. So if you have any donations, you can make them like it says right here through Facebook, or and I believe this is a post right here. So if you go to this post, you might be able to do that as well. But yeah, go to Facebook. Or I think they do drop-offs too. And I'll have to get you more information on that, so you can donate any old toys or anything you have that would help kids in this Christmas season.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a good this isn't quite like a Santa thing, but it was reminded me earlier when you were talking about the Santa thing that they're putting on. There's a really good, I don't know if you call it a special, I don't segment, I guess, on Sunday morning this week about how the like Santas have like adapted to online, like they're doing Zoom calls with little kids. It's really cute and wholesome. Like none of them know how it worked, and they're all like, I had to go buy a microphone and a camera, and they're usually like their children set it up for them. But it's cute. It's really sweet. And yeah, I'm glad people are trying very hard to keep the Christmas spirit. You know.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean Santa's, Joey? There's one Santa. It's Santa.
Helpers, man.
You guys have.
Well, no, I mean, you've seen. So this will be our little bit of a tease. So I think we're gonna have a larger Christmas movie discussion at some point. Pre-show we were talking about Home Alone, and in Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin's character is talking to a Santa Claus at one of the little photograph stations as he's leaving, and he says, "I know you're not the real Santa." He's like, "Oh, what makes you say that?" He's like, "I'm old enough to know how it works." I know you work for him, though. Like, that's how the whole, the distribution chain.
Come on.
Yeah.
Santa can't be everywhere at once. He needs boots, other boots on the ground. He's got a whole.
He can't
army.
have bilocation and time travel abilities to get everywhere in the world at once. Like, there's got to be some limit. Yeah, there's got to be some limit to his power.
Yeah, so that's what UPS was doing this whole time. They're just all his helpers. I mean, who's ever been into a UPS? I don't know anyone who's ever been to a UPS. That could be
UPS actually isn't real. Fun fact. UPS actually isn't real, and I can prove that because they haven't picked up my package. Not my package, but my dad ordered something, and it's like been in the and they sent it to him all broken, and they're supposed to pick it up. It's been like 3 weeks. It's been in my breezeway.
Oh well, the worst thing that happens
UPS doesn't exist
with that is if you have a package that you're waiting to get delivered, and if it has something has to be signed, they'll like say, "Oh, we missed you. We'll come back again." And then if you miss them again, they're like, "We missed you." And if you miss them the third time, they're like, "Oh, sorry. Like we had to send it to our carrier facility in Juneau, Alaska."
Yeah. I've never had to sign for something. I've had some expensive stuff in the mail, and I've never had to sign for it. I don't know what. I don't know. But yeah, they won't come pick up this thing. So as far as I'm concerned, UPS doesn't exist.
Okay.
It's
I
really
thought for a minute you were gonna have some interesting story about how it's like one of those things where it's like it's called UPS, but the company name is actually this. It's just
I'm
the
sure
brand name is UPS.
I'm sure
it doesn't really.
Parcel service or something. No.
Yeah, it's like, are they owned by? It's like, what's going on?
No, I was.
It's a Mandela effect thing, UPS never existed.
It's in my way.
Oh my
it's in my way getting out of the house, so I'm annoyed about it. It's really big. It's like some workout equipment. I don't know what it is, but it's a heavy box. It's in the way of my spray paint.
Funny. All right. Well, fellas, great work today as always, and I look forward to chatting and catching up with you guys again tomorrow. I know it will be. We always find the interesting stories now. That's the point of the year it's at. We've got to find the fun stories.
No, wait until
more monolith news. That's what we need.
Wait until I bring out the Yule lads. We get closer to Christmas. I'll explain what that means. I'm excited.
Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow with another monolith story.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on that.
All right. Take it easy now, fellas. That's Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. We are live every single day here on the Salve Athletics Network through Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. You can like, follow, and subscribe to all of those platforms to never miss a show. You can also subscribe to the Seahawk Talk podcast through Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcasts so that you can take Seahawk Talk on the go. We had a great show here today. I want to thank our guests, Greg K., Janelle Iaquinto, Hannah Smith, and Georgia Rossetti. Can't wait to have another edition of the show tomorrow on Wednesday. We'll be live at 3 o'clock here on the Salve Athletics Network. Until then, I am Andrew Pizzelli, hoping you all have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.